Hello, hi. Last week I talked about how I want to use this thing, the Tunisian crochet hook. I've never done Tunisian crochet, but I know how to crochet and I know how to knit, so shouldn't be a big deal, right? That should be a logical thing for me to figure out in an evening without crashing out. Um, so it's almost 8 p.m. I've got a skein of yarn and a TL yarn crafts tutorial, and we're gonna make a scarf? Question mark. Not finishing a scarf today, but I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna figure out how this works. I will update you. Alrighty, little update. This is going fine. Absolutely no issues, but I also wasn't expecting any because Tony's great at explaining, and this is basically crochet with extra steps. So I did forget that this is the yarn that likes to twist. And at first someone told me that it's doing this because I'm crocheting with it instead of knitting with it, but then I knit something with this and it did it too. So this yarn just likes to twist. But I like this yarn, so I'll accept it. Yeah. I'm doing a... I already forgot what it's called. Ripple wave pattern chevron thingamajig. So it's got the basic simple stitch and then a knit stitch for the valleys and the peaks. And I've learned increases and decreases with that. Great. So I'm gonna keep doing this for a little. This is the correct width for a scarf, I think. I'm gonna keep doing this until it's bedtime, which is not very long because I am tired. I had a long day. And then I will continue this tomorrow. Maybe I'll take it on the bus with me, but I'll probably just take my knitting instead and work on this at home. This is an at-home project because this is chunky and I don't have a lot of space in my bag. Yeah. Well, we'll see tomorrow. If I'm like super excited, I might bring this. The top of this looks really interesting because it goes like onto the cord. I had to switch to the tiny cord because I don't actually have that many stitches, but it goes onto the cord and it fills most of the cord with stitches, but then it's just a separate thing. It's just like crochet. It doesn't have all of the open stitches like knitting. It doesn't feel like surgery. That's interesting. I wonder if the stitch definition on those knit stitches in the peaks and valleys becomes more noticeable once I have more rows. Otherwise, I maybe didn't pick the best yarn for this because there's not a lot of stitch definition going on. But it's still fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying this. Okay, bye. Hi, hello. My weekend has officially started, so it's time to continue. Hi, Neo. It's already a little scarf for you. Oh, little baby. Are you gonna sit? Are you gonna chill with me? Yeah, she is. Hi, hello. Super busy week has passed, but I have been working on this on the bus and in like small moments or half time. I think the color gradient is very interesting. I'm gonna continue. It's Friday now. This is my day off. And I'm just gonna work on this until I get bored, I guess. It's got a long while to go before it's a scarf. I'm not sure if I will finish this on time for Monday. We will see. If not, I'll figure something out. Hi, hello, good morning. It's the next day again. I made progress yesterday. You see the colors? very, very cool. It's still not very scarf-y, but we're getting somewhere. I think I was pretty focused yesterday, but not necessarily in the most productive way. Let me explain. First, I watched the final episode of Chainsaw Man because I had left that on 11 out of 12 for I don't even know how long. So I was reading subtitles for that, and I was going quite slowly because reading subtitles, this is a new craft. I cannot fully do it without looking. And then I was like, damn, I shouldn't be reading subtitles while doing this. So I watched the rest of Lucky Star, which I was watching dubbed. Insane choice, honestly. So I watched like 2/3 of Lucky Star. I don't even really like Lucky Star. I was just like, I started it, I want to finish it. It is one of the classics. And I was pretty focused during that. I think I did like this much is from yesterday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And that finished about when it was time for dinner, and then I was bored and I did something else. I will continue today, but I also have to go to work soon. And after work, I do have some responsibilities. Groceries, dinner, reading a paper for uni, making progress on a book that I need to read for my class on apocalypse literature, a whole bunch of stuff. But I do think I can get some progress in, at least get through the next dark section. You will be updated. Alrighty, good morning, next day again. My guesstimation was correct. I finished the dark section and now it's back to light again. Very cool. I don't think I will be finishing this today, so I'm gonna go on a little side adventure and I'll see you for this on Monday. Hi, hello. It has been a hot minute since I worked on the Tunisian crochet. I made that bearded dragon plushie and I got a cold and I was out for like a week. And then I had assignments to focus on, and then I was like, I want to play games. I've been playing The Long Dark and I still want to do that, but this morning I lost my 40-ish day run to a bear. I got a little bit too confident, I think, with my aiming. And I was like, you know what? I need to take a little break before I start a new run, because otherwise I'm gonna think I have stuff that I don't have because I had it in my previous run, and that's not good for survival. So we break from the game. I'm gonna work on the scarf. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm going to put some background noise on and just take at least an hour of focused work. Should be good. Hi, hello, it is Sunday now. Friday I did get some good progress in, and then I played more of The Long Dark. And then yesterday I went to work and I did uni stuff. And I was an executive function beast so that I had time to finish this today. And by finish this, I mean finish the yarn that I have. Because I don't think this is going to be long enough with the yarn I have. But it is all the yarn I have, so it will be the end of this video regardless. And then we'll see if I pull this back out as like a side thing in some other video. We have learned in this video that I now can do Tunisian crochet. I learned Tunisian crochet. That was the point. Cool. Anyway, I wanted to talk about The Long Dark and the fact that me playing the story mode of The Long Dark right now is homework. Which, that's not good for my overall screen time or my time to work on my crafts or anything really. So, I am following a course. This is a mandatory course, not an elective, but if it was an elective, I probably would have chosen it, honestly. This course is called Apocalypse Always, and it's about apocalypse literature, the history of apocalypse literature, kind of the psychology behind why people gravitate towards it, coping with mortality. We are reading some books for it, watching some movies, lots of academic papers, but that's not really the interesting part. For one of the classes, we're going to be either watching The Lorax or Wall-E, which is cute, fun. Anyway, not next week, but the week after, we have to bring our own text. And text in an academic context can be a book, a movie, a game, whatever. And I was sitting there, and I am still not entirely sure about the scale that an event has to be for it to be considered an apocalypse. We already concluded in this class that it doesn't have to be the whole world. So in the previous media we've discussed it was the whole world for Children of Men, the movie where people stop having babies, no new people are born, worldwide problem. Then we had to read Last One at the Party, which is also a worldwide apocalypse. But now we're reading Moon of Crusted Snow. I'm gonna put it in if I misremembered. And that is, for as far as I can tell right now, a smaller scale thing and a commentary on colonialism. And The Long Dark happens to be kind of similar in that sense because it is an island that has been disconnected from the mainland, and therefore it's not getting any supplies or help, and it's dealing with natural disasters, so like earthquakes and stuff like that, and then a bit of supernatural because animals are reacting very strongly to the northern lights and stuff like that, and that's dangerous. And then the general, it is a very northern Canadian location, gets very cold, freezing to death is an option when you are cut off from electricity and supplies. Starvation is a thing. And in the game you also have to, in the story mode, there's a lot of grief and loneliness, and other people are dying around you, and it's sad. In survival mode, all of that has already passed. You're just there finding notes, and then you get as the person playing it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's sad and fucked up. But if you don't actually touch the notes, you don't have to deal with any of the lore. You just find stuff and houses and abandoned places. That's still sad, but anyway, in the story mode, one of the characters literally refers to it as an apocalypse, so I feel safe bringing this into class. I think the scale is big enough that it counts, but now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, is stuff like the summer Hikaru died, is that apocalypse media? That whole village is being bothered by eldritch horror, and the surrounding villages are part of it. Is that apocalypse media? Is the wrath of some supernatural entity on a village already big enough? Or is that something else? I think that's one of the the discussion questions I'm going to submit for my text. Like, hey, what scale does it need to be considered an apocalypse? How many people? And there's not going to be a clear answer, right? It's going to be based on vibes, because if you do have a concrete number and you're on one under that number, does it not count anymore suddenly? Even if the rest lines up, they're not going to have an answer for me. But I would like to know. Anyway, just because playing that video game is now required for me to talk about it in that class, it means that I have an excuse to play that game a lot, which is fun and fine because I am well on track for everything else. But it's kind of risky because I have been just playing that game like a lot more than I normally would. So now I'm once again on crunch time for crafts, but I do that to myself. No one is forcing me to do these crafts. And I like doing crafts too. So it's the thing where you have multiple hobbies and you need to pick which one to do at any given time, and they're all equally fun, but you can't do them at the same time. I mean, I have been working on this a little bit while playing The Long Dark because there's a lot of waiting time in the game, there's a lot of empty time, which you can also talk about for like apocalyptic reflection stuff. There's a lot of waiting things out, there's not constant action, and that is also part of the scary vibes. I gotta think about which media I'm bringing as my second media, because I have The Long Dark. I'm considering The Summer He Crew Died. You could also pull out like Gravity Falls with Weird Mageddon, which that's even smaller scale. No, yeah, yes, Gravity Falls is smaller than the entirety of the affected area and The Summer He Crew Died. And that's literally called Weird Mageddon, which that's an apocalypse. But it's locked into a single town. Is that big enough? Interesting, interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna have to pick something to watch today because I already caught up on my YouTube and my rambling is nearly done. And I still have some time to work on this, and I would like to not stare blankly ahead. And even though I am pretty confident in my Tunisian crochet at this stage in working on this project, I am not confident in my ability to read during it. So I won't be reading the book for Wednesday. I'll be bringing that with me to class tomorrow and reading it in my break. Hour-long break between classes, fun, dandy. Yeah. Looks so cursed. Tunisian crochet is very pretty, and it's very cool, and it's not at all difficult to learn if you already know how to crochet. But it looks a little bit uncanny, strange. Alrighty. That's the yarn. Perfect yarn chicken too. Just enough to weave in the end. Right, so that's a scarf. So normally I would prefer scarves that are like wrap around like 15 times, but the thing is it's functional. Hold up. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I know how to do Tunisian crochet now. Wonderful. So if I see a cool pattern coming by that uses these things, I now know how to do that. This is a nice chevron. Colors are nice. Good projects. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Have you ever done Tunisian crochet? I don't see it around that often. I think I've literally only seen it from TL Yarn Crafts videos, but looked good. Bye bye.